Hello everyone, good day. So we are the group 7 and our topic for this afternoon is all about the measures of central tendency and dispersion or variability. So a measure of central tendency is a single value, yes, single value siya, that attempts to describe a set of data, so like scores, by identifying the central position within that set of data of scores. As such, measures of central tendency are sometimes called measures of central location. So central tendency refers to the center of a distribution of observations. So mayong gatag central tendency, so mo siya ang center point no ang center location sa kanang set of kanang scores kung asa ang tunga-tunga, di ba? Therefore, if makalocate na ta or maka-identify na ta if ang score sa atong students is if kanang kuan ba no siya no, if above average or below the average, no? So where do scores tend to congregate? So in a test of 100 items, where are the most of the scores? So do they tend to group around the mean score of 50 or 80? So mana siya no. So by using with the help of measures of central tendency, makakwanta no makakonclude ta if kanang ang kung asa ang passing score sa students or asa ilahang most scores na kanang nakuan, asa ilahang most scores nga yes, asa ang most scores dapit sa students no. Then there are three measures of central tendency. So these are the mean, median and the mode. So I know that all of us kanang familiar sa mean kay it's because man atong gamito no every time magkanang kuanta mag what's this mag-calculate or magkuha ta sa atong average. But there are two other measures of central tendency, so namely the median and the mode. So is there such a thing as best measure of central tendency? So sa kaning tulo kay kanang nabay better or nabay best ani gamiton sa ilaha? So if the measures of central tendency indicate where scores congregate, the measures of variability indicate how spread out a group of scores is or how varied the scores are or how far they are from the mean. So the common measures of dispersion or variability are the range, the interquartile range, the variance, and standard deviation. So later on, i-discuss na siya sa akong mga ubang kagrupo. So let's start with the measures of central tendency. So as what I've said earlier, nga naitulo ka book measures ang central tendency and those are the mean, median, and mode. So all of these three kay kanang valid measures of central tendency siya but under different conditions. So dili ta makagamit og mean kay tungod gusto lang nato. Di ta makagamit sa median kay it's because bet lang nimo nga mogamit og median. No. Valid na ang tulo gamiton but na siya kanang proper way and proper time kung kanus sila gamiton. Okay? So for example, if the scores are extremely high and extremely low, meaning if ang scores sa mga students kay na extremely high and extremely low, example, if naghatag kag exam 100 items and ang pinaka-highest nga score nga nakuha sa imong student is 98 and lowest is 95. So therefore, dako kayo ang gap sa ilang scores. So therefore, kanang makuano kanang affected ang mean. So ang gingo diri, so if na extremely high and extremely low, better to use the median, no? Median, since mean is affected by the extremely high and extremely low score. So sama sa gingon ganina. So first one is the mean. Arithmetic. So the mean is also called as average, no? So is the most popular and most well-known measure of central tendency. So man siya ang mean mo ni atong ginagamit, popular, famous nga ginagamit nato especially in calculating or kanang yes, to calculate our kanang average, di ba? So how unsa na to pagkuha sa mean? So the equal to the sum of all the values in the data set divided by the number of values in the data set. So for example, 10 students in a graduate school class got the following scores in a 100 item test. So ang pagkuha dahil sa mean is i-add nimo tanan ang scores, then imong i-divide og pila ka book scores nga imong gi-add. So example ani sa kanang 10 students in a graduate school class. So, mani ilahang scores sa 10 kabuk students nga imong gikuan og scores. money 70, 72, 75, 77, 78, 80, 84, 87, 90, and 92. Para makuha nimo ang mean, so imo ning first mo button is to add, no? I-add mo 70 plus 72 plus 75 plus 77 plus 78 plus 80 plus 84 plus 87 plus 90 plus 92. Then equals, ang result is 805. 805. Then, i-divide og pila ka buok ang imong giad. So, since 10 man ni ka buok scores nga imong giad, so therefore, 805 divided by 10. So, the mean therefore is 805 divided by 10 equals to 80.5. So, ang imong mean or the average is 80.5, no? Kani nga scores nga naa diri kaning gikan sa 70 until 92, if imo nang i-add and divided by 10, therefore ang mean ani niya is 80.5. So there are 6 scores below the average score. So since nakita na nimo ang central point or the central location nga ang center point or the average of kanang scores sa students is 80.5. So naka-conclude na ka nga ang naay 6 ka buok nga below the average scores. So those are the 70, 72, 75, 77, 78, and 80. And there are 4 scores above the average, no? Above the mean, which is the 80.5. So mani siya ang above, that is 84, 87, 90, and 92. Nasabtan ra ba? So when not to use mean, although sayon ra kayo gamiton ang mean and very kanang unsa ni kanang famous and popular gamiton ang mean, but na siya disadvantage, no, kung nga dili siya angay gamiton ang mean. So it is particularly susceptible to the influence of outliers. So these are values that are unusual compared to the rest of dataset by being especially small or large in numerical value. So as what I've said nga, if ang set of scores is na extremely high and extremely low, therefore dili angay gamiton ang mean kay it's because maapektuhan man siya, no? So for example, consider the scores of 10 grade 12 students in a 100 item statistics test below. So tanawa, so in score 1, kaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so it represents your students, no, your 10 students. And then ang kanang below anang ang mga number are kanang their scores, ilang mga scores nga nakuha, no? So ang student 1 nakakuha siya 5, student 2 nakakuha 38, 3 kay nakakuha 56, dayon 60, 67, 70, 73, 78, 79, and 95. So unsa inyong nabantayan, no? Awa ang student 1, no, 5, which is the lowest, and ang sa student number 10, that is 95, which is highest. So therefore naa siya extremely high and extremely low. So sama sa akong gingon ganina, if na extremely high and extremely low nga kanang scores, so affected ang mean. So manang gingon diri nga gi-discourage not to use mean if na extremely high and extremely low nga scores. So, as most students have scores in 5 to 95 range, the mean is being skewed by extremely low and extremely high scores. So, sama yung ganina, no? Nga naay, kuan man, na may lowest, which is 5, and na may highest, which is 95. So, dako kay ilang gap. And then, therefore, in this situation, we'll find out later, taking the median would be a better measure of central tendency in this situation. So let's move to the second one, which is the median. So the median the median is the middle score. So from the word itself, middle, no, tunga-tunga nga score for a set of scores arranged from the lowest to highest. So the mean is less affected by extremely low and extremely high scores. So if ang median gamiton, if na scores nga extremely high and extremely low, na ay kanang na ay dili ka kani, if ang median gamiton, if na scores nga extremely high and extremely low, therefore dili affected ang mean, no? So how do we find the median? So suppose we have the following data. So unsa na to pagkuha sa median? So we have the following data, which is the 65, 55, 89, 56, 35, 14, 56, 55, 87, 45, and 92. To determine the median, so first thing to do is we have to rearrange the scores into the order of magnitude. So from smallest to largest. So arrange, no? Imong i-arrange first ang set sa scores gikan sa kinagamyan padulong sa kinadak-an. So ang lowest diri is 14, followed by 35, 45, 55, 55, 56, 56, 65, 87, 89, and 92. So ang kaning 40 nag-start until 92 is gi-arrange na siya from lowest until highest. So therefore, if na-arrange na siya, then your next thing to do is to identify na no, where is the kanang median, kung asa ang median ani niya. So since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 11. So this is odd numbers, meaning bungkig. So therefore, if bungkig, sayo na kay pag-identify no, kay kinsa ang naman to sa tunga-tunga no, kay bungkig man. So usara ang median ani niya, dili siya duha. So ang median diri, our median is the scores at the middle of distribution. So in this case, 56 is the middle score. So there are 5 scores before it and 5 scores after it. So nakita ra ba? So 14, 35, 45, 55, 55. So first 5. Another napud 56, 65, 87, 89, and 92. Another 5. So therefore, ang middle is kaning 56. Nasabtan ra ba? Alright. So in this case, 56 is the median. So there are 5 scores before it and 5 scores after it. So this works fine when you have an odd numbers of scores. So sayo na siya pag-locate sa median if odd numbers ang set of scores, no? If odd numbers meaning bungkig ang scores. But what happens when you have an even number of scores? So if paris-paris di ay ang scores, unsaon na to pagkuha sa median? So what if you had 10 scores like the scores below? So this kaning 65, 55, 89, 56, 35, 14, 56, 55, 87, and 45. So unsaon? So first thing to do is to arrange the data according to the order of magnitude, so from smallest to largest. So after imo nang rearrange no gikan sa lowest. So if ato siyang i-rearrange, mag-start ta sa 14. 14 followed by 35, then followed by 45, then 55, 55, 56, 56, 65, 87, and 89. After pag-arrange, imo na siyang gi-identify as ang middle score, then take the middle two scores. So ang diri pag-arrange na ang middle scores na diri is the 55 and 56. So unsaon nato since duha man ang middle score, unsaon man nato pagkuha sa median. So all you have to do is to compute the average of the two scores. Unsaon? So 55 plus 56, no, you add 55 plus 56 and divided by 2. No? So the median is 55.5. So this gives us a more reliable picture of the tendency of the scores. There are indeed scores of 55 and 56 in the score distribution. So dili ra affected ang mean, kay median man atong gigamit bisan pa og na siya extremely high and extremely low. Therefore napakita diri if naay siya kanang highest and nay lowest, then dako kay gap ang mga scores. Therefore better to use the median. Nasabtan ang median. So next we have the mode. So next we have mode. So the mode of what is mode? So mode is the most frequent. So from the word itself, no, most meaning most meaning kanang pinaka nagbalik-balik nga score in our data set. Dili lang kay dili lang siya nagbalik-balik but pinaka nagbalik-balik, pinaka daghan nga score nga nagbalik-balik. So if on a histogram or bar chart, it represents the highest bar. So ang mode is easy ra siya kuanon, easy ra siya makuha, makita kay it's because pinaka nagbalik-balik man na siya nga scores. And if maghisgot og chart or kanang mga histogram or bar chart, kay ma-identify na to nga kanang that score is kanang kuan, the mode kay kuan man siya no, kanang highest, no, it represents the highest bar. So if a score of the number of times an option is chosen in a multiple choice test, you can therefore sometimes consider the mode as being the most popular option. Study the score distribution given below. So example, we have 14, 35, 45, 55, 55, 56, 56, 65, 87, and 89. So as you can see, natay duha ka scores nga nagbalik-balik, which is the 55 and the 56. So napabala ang scores nga nagbalik-balik? No, 'di ba wala na? So only 55 and 56. Therefore, our mode is 55 and 56. Pwede ba nga duha atong mode? Yes, of course. Then unsay tawag if ang mode kay duha? So that is called bimodal. So if ang mode kay usara, for example, ang kaning 45 is 55 na siya. So labaw, so tulo ka 55 then duha ka 56. So pila may mode? So 55 no. So usaray mode, so that is unimodal, no, that is called unimodal. What if tulo? So that is trimodal. And if 4 or more ang mode, that is called multimodal. So there are two most frequent scores, no, 55 and 56. So sa kanang sa score nga gipakita diri, natay duha ka book mode, which is the 55 and 56. Kay nga naman kaduha sila nagbalik, no, duha ka book score, duha ka book 55 and duha ka book 56. That's why duha ka book atong mode, the 55 and 56. So we have a score distribution with two modes. So hence a bimodal distribution. So as what I've said, if two modes, that is bimodal. So let's move to the normal and skewed distribution. So a score distribution, a sample as a normal distribution. So when most of the values are aggregated around the mean and the number of values decreases as you move below or above the mean, the bar graph or frequencies of a normal distributed sample will look like a curved bell. So like this. So unsa when ta makabuhat og kanang perfect bell, no? So normal this is called normal distribution. So makuha na ang normal distribution if mean is equal to the median and median is equal to the mode. The score distribution shows a perfectly normal distribution. So therefore, perfectly curved it's because equal raman ang mean, median, and mode. Okay? Thank you.
So next is figure 14, negatively skewed distribution. If mean is greater than the median and the mode, the score distribution is positively skewed distribution. So, if a mean is kanang greater than the median and the mode, so the score distribution is positive. So, so if negative skewed distribution, so bali ni siya. If ang skewed distribution is negative, so ang score distribution is positively skewed distribution. So, figure 15, positively skewed distribution. If scores tend to be high because teacher taught very well and students are highly motivated to learn, the score distribution tends to be negatively skewed. Example, the scores will tend to be high. On the other hand, when teacher does not teach well and students are poorly motivated, the score distribution tends to be positively skewed, which means that scores tend to be low. So which score distribution will work for? So kaning positively skewed distribution, if this means that teacher, if the teacher is if ang teacher is kanang magtudlo og tarong, ang score sa mga students is high jud siya, but the score distribution is negative. So outcome-based teaching, learning, and score distribution. If the teachers teach in accordance with the principles of outcome-based teaching, learning, and so align content and assessment with the intended learning outcomes, and we teach till mastery what has or have not been understood as revealed by the formative assessment process, then student scores in the assessment phase of the lesson will tend to congregate on the higher end of the score distribution. Score distribution will positively skew. The other hand, if what teachers teach and assess are not aligned with the intended learning outcomes, the opposite will be true. So outcome-based learning is if when the if the teacher teach in accordance with the principle of outcome-based learning, teaching, learning. So if na wala mahibawan sa mga students, then ibalik niya og tunlo so that may ma-master ang mga students kanang wala nila mahibawan or wala nila makatunan. So iya ipaagi og formative assessment process. So yeah. Score distribution will be negatively skewed, which means that scores tend to congregate on the lower end of the score distribution. Measures of dispersion or variability. If the measures of central tendency indicate where scores congregate, the measures of variability indicate how spread out a group of scores is or how varied the scores are. Common measures of dispersions or variability are range, variance, and standard deviation. So first is the range. What is variability? Variability refers to how spread out a group of score is. The terms variability, spread, and dispersions are synonyms and refer to how spread out a distribution is. Here are two sets of score distribution. So the set A is the first set is set A. So 5 5 5 5 5 5 and 6 5 and 6. So 4 4 5 and 6 6. So mao nang mean niya is 5 and 6 because they are both so set B is 1 3 4 5 5 6 7 8 8 9. So the mean is 5 5 and 6. The two score distributions have equal mean scores, and yet the scores are varied. So maong scores kay kanang varied they are mean ang mean scores kay varied because they are spread out. The score distributions A shows scores that less vary than scores distribution B. That is what we mean by variability or dispersion. If we have to study both the score distribution, assuming that the highest possible score in the quiz is 10, we can say that group A and B are equal in terms of mean, but group A has more similar scores and are closer to the mean, while group B. So to see more what we mean by spread out, consider graphs in figure 1. These graphs represent the scores on two quizzes. The mean score for each quiz is 7.0. Despite the equality of means, you can see that the distributions are quite different. Specifically, the scores on quiz 1 are more densely packed and those on quiz 2 are more spread out. The quizzes among were much greater on quiz 2 than quiz 1. So you can see the quiz 1 and the quiz 2 figures, figure 16 and 17. So the quiz 1 is more densely packed and the quiz 2 are more spread out. So you can see the quiz 2 na spread out jud siya ang quiz 2. Next is range. The range is the most simple measure of variability. The range is simply the highest score minus the lowest score. So ang range is kanang simple ra siya kanang ang unsay highest score, so i-minus sa gamay nga score. So example, what is the range of the following group of scores? 10, 2, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4. So the highest number is 10 and the lowest number is 2. So 10 minus 2 is equals to 8. So the range is 8. So another example, this is a set of scores in a test: 99, 45, 23, 67, 45, 91, 82, 78, 62, 51. So the highest number is 99 and the lowest number is 23. So 99 minus 23 equals 76. So the range is 76. Alright, so next is variance. Variability can also be defined in terms of how close the scores in the distributions are the middle of the distribution. Using the mean as the measure of the middle of the distribution, the variance is defined as the average square difference of the scores from the mean. So the variance is defined the average square difference of the scores from the mean. So ang variance is mauna ni siya ang average squared score sa mean. So the data from quiz 1 are shown in table 1.
So in table 1, kay na score division from mean and the square deviation. So in table 1 is the mean is the 7.0, or therefore the column deviation from mean contains the score minus 7. The column square division is simply the previous column squared. So one thing that is important to notice is that the mean deviation from the mean is 0. This will always be the case. The mean of the square division is 1.5. Therefore, the variance is 1.5. The formula for the variance is the sigma, or the small letter sigma to the power of 2 equals sigma is the capital letter. So, muna siya ang sigma na capital letter, no? So, open parenthesis, x subtract the mean of all the values, close parenthesis, to the power of 2, and over n are the variance. So, let's proceed for the standard deviation. Standard deviation is to calculate the standard deviation of those numbers, no? So, kani siya mga step kung saan pag-calculate sa standard deviation. So, first is work out the mean, or this, the simple average of the numbers. Second, then for each number, subtract the mean and square the result. 3, then work out the mean of those square differences. 4, take the square root of that and we are done. So the formula explained. First, let us have some example values to work on. So, example, Sam has 20 rose bushes. The number of flowers on each bush is 9, 2, 5, 4, 12, 7, 8, 11, 9, 3, 7, 4, 12, 5, 4, 10, 9, 6, 9, and also 4. So, we have the 20 values. So, na ay 20 ka bushes sa rows. Nga na yung mga value, kalalay nga value. So, let us solve for the standard deviation. So, ato to siyang gamiton na ang sa pag-calculate ang standard deviation. So, ang unang step 1 is the workout the mean. So, in the workout in the mean, in the formula above, you are the Greek letter mu as the mean of all our values. So, example, 9, 2, 5, 4, 12 sa katong gingon nga mga value ganiha nga naa si Rose. So, etc. No? Na naman siya diri 9, 2, 5, 4, 12, 7, so on. So, the mean is 7. So, nganong 7 man ang mean? No? So, first, let us start to add all the value. Itong na ay 9 plus 2, add them all, and ato makuha ang 140. So, 140 divided by 20 equals 7. So, ato i-divide og kuan 20, no? 20 ang tanang nga value na kang rose na flower. So, ato divide ang 140 divided by 20 equals 7. So, that is 7 is the mean of our values. So, since 7 naman naa dira, so 7 is all the values, and if divide na to 20, makuha ang 7. No? Ang 20 gikan sa, ako balikon, ang 20 is gikan sa mga bashes, no? Bashes ni Rose, ng mga value, no? Pila ang mga bashes sa rose ni, pila ang mga bashes of flowers na akang sum di ay, na akang sum, no? Mga rose. So, 20 divided by 140, 7. So, that is, all our values is 7. So, step 2, then for each number, subtract the mean and square the result. This is the part of the formula, open parenthesis, xi, subtract the mean of all our values to the power of 2. So, what is x? They are the individual x values 9, 2, 5, 4, 12, 7, etc. In other words, xi equals 9 times 2 equals 2 multiplied by 3 equals 5, and so on, etc. So, it says, for each value, subtract the mean and square the result like this. So, sa katagsa-tagsa nila nga mga value, ato siyang isubtract, no? Sa ato ang mean. So, unsa man to atong mean, diba? 7. So, ato siyang isubtract and square the result like this. No? Parehaan ni, no? 9. 9 is ang ato ang value sa atong flower bushes. No? So, subtract the mean. So, ang mean is 7 to the power of 2. So, considered 2 na siya dira ang nasa ibabaw because ang atong formula nga atong gigamit. So, equals, subtract 9 minus 7 equals 2. So, close parenthesis and open parenthesis to the power of 2. Copy the power of 2 square root and equals 2 times 2 multiply to the power of 2 equals 4. So, clear? So, 2 minus 7 and also this 2 minus 7 the power of 2 equals negative 5. So, nganong negative 5 man siya? Because mas dako ang iyang negative kaysa sa positive. So, negative 5 to the power of 2 equals 5 times 5 multiply to the power of 2 equals 25. And so on like this. 5 minus 7 to the power of 2. Yes. So, and also 12 negative 5, 12 minus 7 to the power of 2, 5. No, 5 to the power of 2. So, multiply to the power of 2, 5 times 2. 5 times 5 equals 25. So, isang result, 25, 0, and 1. So, ato ning makuha na nga mga resulta. So, 4, 25, 4, 9, 25, 0, 1, 16, 4, 16, 0, 9, 25, 4, 9, 9, 4, 1, 4, and also the 9. So, muni siya nga atong mga value nga atong nakuha sa atong pag-divide, pag-subtract sa atong mean, no? Nga value, sa atong pag-subtract sa atong value of the rows, atong subtract sa atong mean. So, ato ni siyang nakuha, no? 4. These numbers. So, step 3, then work out the mean of those square differences. To work out the mean, add up all the values, then divide by how many? No? Atong kunon ang mean and atong i-add ang mga tanan values nga itong nakuha ganina, no? At least ato ni siyang i-add, and then ito ni siyang divide na to o pila. So first, add up all the values from the previous step. But how do we say add them all up in mathematics? We use sigma. So ako na to siyang naingon to the first sigma. What is sigma? No? The handy sigma notation says to the sum up as many terms as we want. We want to add up all the values from 1 to n, where n equals 20 in our case because there are 20 values. No? Since 20 values man, so n equals 20. So this is the formula that we are going to do, no? And the sigma I equals 1, open parentheses, xi, subtract the mean of all our values to the power of 2, which means sum of all values from x1 to subtract 7, negative 7 to the power of 2 to x and negative 7, close parentheses. So we already calculated the x1 equals 7 to the power of 2 equals 4, etc. in the previous step. So just sum them up. So 4 plus 25 plus 4 plus 9, 25, 0 plus 1 plus 16, 4, 16 equals 0, and so on. So ato makuha ang 178. No, 178 atong i-add ang mga tanang atong mga result, yung mga value ato siyang i-add. So makuha na to ang 178. So, but that is not mean yet we need to divide by how many, which is done by multiplying by 1n, the same as dividing by n. So, this is an example continued. The 1n to n sigma and x subtract the mean of all our values to the power of 2. So, mean of the square differences is 120, no? So, 178. So, divided by 8.9. So, equals 8.9. So, note, this called is variance. So, variance ni siya nga values. So, step 4, take the square root of that. Sample concluded. So, like this, no? Sigma. Then, the sample standard deviation, but sometimes our data are only a sample of the whole population. Example, some has 20 rose bushes, but only counted the flowers on 6 of them. So, only 6 values nga lang atong makuha. No? The population is all 20 rose bushes and the sample is the 6 bushes that some counted among 20. So, let us say some flowers count are 9, 2, 5, 4, 12, 7. So, we can still estimate the standard deviation, but when we use the sample as estimate of the whole population, the standard deviation formula changes to this. The formula for the sample standard deviation is this, no? Kani mo siya, the sample nga formula for standard deviation, sample standard deviation. That's why you have an S. The important change is then negative 1 instead of n, which is called Bessel's correction. The symbols also change to reflect that we are working on a sample instead of the whole population. So the mean is now x for sample mean. So ato sa standard deviation is ang mean for symbol is x. So ari sa sample mean of the standard deviation is u instead of u. Sa sample standard deviation x na siya. So and the answer is the S for formula for sample standard deviation instead of Q. But that does not affect the calculation, only in n negative instead of n changes the calculation. So
how to calculate sample standard deviation? Here are the steps in calculating the sample standard deviation. Step 1, work out the mean. Sample 2, using sampled values 9, 2, 5, 4, 12, 7. So, add up all of the value of mean. So, the mean is 9 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 12 plus 7 is equals to 39. Divide 6 is equals 6.5. So, x is equals 6.5. Step 2, then for each number, subtract the mean and square the results. Example 2, kuha ko example 3 examples. So 9 minus 6.5 squared equals 2.5 squared equals 6.25. So ibuhat na ko, which is 9 minus 6 is equals 3 times 2 is equals 6. Then ang 5 times 5 is equals 25. So answer na ko is 6.25. Next, 2 minus 6 is equals negative 4. Then, 2 minus 6.5 squared equals negative 4.5 squared equals 20.25. So, 20 minus 6 is equals negative 4. Then, negative 4. So, negative 4 times 5 is equals 20.25. Next, 5 minus 6.5 squared equals negative 1.5 squared is equals 2.5. So, negative 1 equal, negative 1 times negative 1 is equals positive 2. So, 2.25. Step 3. Then work out the mean of these square differences. To work out the mean, add up all the values, then divide by how many. But hang on, we are calculating the sample standard deviation. So instead of dividing by how many n, we will divide by n negative 1. So example 2. Sum equals 6.25 plus 20.25 plus 2.25 plus 6.25 plus 30.25 plus 0.25 is equals to 6.5. So, add up all the values. So, gi-add rin na ko ang all values. So, that nag-total siya of 65.5. So, divide by n. So, gibuhat na ko din hindapitay, which is divide by n negative 1, then 65.5, gi-divide na kong 5, so i-total siya og 13.1. This value is called the sample variance. Step 4. The square root of that sample 2 concluded 7.5 comparing. So, diri na ta sa 7.5 comparing. When we use the whole population, we got mean 7. Standard deviation is equals 2.983. When we use the sample, we got sample mean equals 6.5. Sample deviation equals 3.619. So, our sample mean was wrong by 7%. Our sample standard deviation was wrong by 21. So, why take a sample? Mostly because it is easier and cheaper. So, imagine you want to know what the whole university things. You can ask thousands of people. So instead, you ask maybe only 300 people. So, so you just try to imagine, no, if you ask thousands of people. So instead of 300 only. The next is Samuel Johnson once said, "You don't have to eat ox to know that the meat is taught." So, similarly, if you know how to sample the right way, for example, you don't know how to interview, example, when Johnson said, when Samuel Johnson once said, example, if similarly, if you know how to sample the right way, then you don't have to interview everyone. If the whole country to in the whole country to have a very good idea of what they think about a particular issue. So that is the goal of Samuel Johnson sample. More notes on standard deviation. The standard deviation is simply the square root of the variance. The standard deviation is an especially useful measure of variability when the distribution is so. Standard deviation, which is simply the square root of the standard deviation, which is especially useful measure the variability when the distribution is normal or approximately normal. Because the proportion of the distribution with a given number of standard deviation from the mean can be calculated. So, a given number of standard deviations, which is from the mean, can be calculated. For example, 68% of the distribution is within one standard deviation from a division of the mean, and approximately 95% of the distribution is within two standard deviation of the mean. Therefore, if you had a normal distribution with a mean of 50 and a standard deviation of 10, Then 68% of the distribution will be between 50 minus 1 equals minus 10 is equals 40. And 50 plus 10 is equals 60. Similarly, about 95% of the distribution will be between 50 minus 2 times 10 is equals 30. And 50 plus 2 is 10 equals 70. So, the distribution will be between is about 95%. The symbol for the population standard deviation is 0. Figure 2 shows the true normal distributions. The distribution bold line has a mean of 40 and a standard deviation of 5. The other distribution has a mean of 60 and a standard deviation of 10. For the distribution hold line, 68% of the distribution is between 35 and 45. So, the distribution hold line 68% which is between in 35 and 45. For the distribution 68% is between 50 and 70. Normal distribution with standard deviation of 5 and 10. Standard deviation is a measured differentiation. The more differs the data, the less consistent the data are. So a lower standard deviation, the data are more clustered around the mean, and hence the data set is more consistent. So if a lower standard deviation, the data are more clustered, then the mean, and hence the data set is more consistent. So you need to read your calculator instructions to see what notations your calculator uses for the standard deviation. An example, standard deviation for a data set with standard deviation for a data set with a frequency 1 using the following data 10, 15, 13, 25, 22, 53, 47. So we add all value. Then we found the mean to be x is 26, 42, 8, 5, 7, 13. You should also see from the same calculation that the standard deviation 16, 98, 87, 91, 82. Interpretation of standard deviation. Let us use the standard deviation to compare two data sets. Let us use the standard deviation to interpret how consistent the data are. So, the lower the standard deviation, the more consistent the data are. So, two boilers, Kitty and Mike's, have the score given below. So, Kitty's score and Mike's score are the total of 1007. So, 1007. Then, both sets of data have mean x is equals 201.4. So, ang kaning 1,107 gidivide siya sa 5, so ni total siya og 201.4. So thus this mean they are equivalent bowlers. So now consider the standard deviations. Kitty has a standard deviation of standard deviations 37.6,470, and Mike has a standard deviation of 26.1017. Since Mike has a smaller standard deviation, he is more consistent boiler than Kitty. So, since Mike has a smaller standard deviation, he is more consistent boiler than kay Kitty. So, Mike is more likely to get a score of 201.4. So, let's presume that Kitty's and Mike's scores are scores in a long test. Kitty scores, Mike scores. If you compute the mean of both sets of scores, you get 201. For Kitty scores and 37.6,470, while that of Mike is 26.1017. So if you compute the mean for both sets of scores, so you get 201 for Kitty's. Then Mike's scores indicate greater consistency than those of Kitty. So this means that Mike tends to do better than Kitty because his scores are more consistent than those of Kitty. So Mike's scores indicate consistency than those of Kitty. This means that Mike tends to do better than Kitty. So because of his scores are consistent than those of Kitty. So thank you. That's all.